Hello, my name is Richard Rodriguez, and today I will be speaking about amphetamines. In this presentation, I will be covering general information about amphetamines, the effects amphetamines have on us as individuals, risks and consequences, different forms of the drug, and provide information regarding addiction and recovery. We will begin by covering general information of amphetamines. Originally, amphetamines were first introduced in the 1930s under the name Benzedrine, which is an over-the-counter medication with the purpose of relieving nasal congestion. Amphetamines are considered a psychostimulant drug and directly impact the central nervous system. This means the drug affects the rate our bodies communicate with our brain. These drugs are labeled Schedule II stimulants, which means there is a high risk for abuse and are currently overwhelmingly abused, but are considered to have some medical uses. For example, some legal and prescribed versions of amphetamines are used for a patient's benefit. We will be going over this a little later in our presentation. In our next slide, I will be speaking about the effects amphetamines have on our body. Because amphetamines speed up the messages between the brain and the body, this results in the individual being more alert and an increase of overall energy. Additionally, individuals are reported to have euphoric feeling as well as an increase in confidence and sex drive. This is due to the drug triggering a release of dopamine, norepinephrine, and at a lesser dosage, serotonin. This causes an initial feeling of pleasure as well as a boost in energy. Furthermore, direct negative effects consist of an increased heart and respiratory rate, the grinding of teeth, and dry mouth. Noting the effects people experience upon taking amphetamines, both beneficial and detrimental, we will now cover the risks of amphetamines. Some may see the positive and negative effects of amphetamines and may think this is a worthy trade-off, a feeling of euphoria, increased energy and confidence, but the reality is amphetamines are classified as a Schedule II drug for a reason. They are highly addictive, and unsupervised use and abuse of this drug are where the dangers lie, which is why there are legal prescribed versions of amphetamines, which I mentioned earlier in a previous slide, and I will touch upon shortly. These long-term negative effects consist of a decrease in appetite and weight loss, cardiac arrhythmia, which is an irregular heart rate, memory loss, stroke, emotional and mental instability, hallucinations, tremors, skin sores, insomnia, tooth decay, which some may know it as meth mouth, and even death. Because the chances of addiction and abuse of amphetamines are so high, these long-term effects are very common. This is due to the brain rewiring itself and craving the drug above all else. The drug destroys pleasure receptors in the brain and eventually only manages to get pleasure via amphetamines, which is why addicts will go to extreme lengths to obtain the drug. People who abuse amphetamines, especially methamphetamine, have a higher infection rate of HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. This is because one of the ways of administering this drug is through injection. Amphetamines are purchased or prescribed via different means. In this slide, you will see some legal and illegal versions of amphetamines. These legal amphetamines are sold under brand names such as Adderall, Concerta, Ritalin, among many other names. Legal amphetamines are prescribed through a healthcare provider due to medical reasons. Common uses of prescription amphetamines are used to treat narcolepsy and ADHD. These drugs are dextroamphetamine and levoamphetamine. As I previously mentioned, because the drug tends to have an effect on appetite and weight loss, amphetamines such as lisdexamphetamine are prescribed for weight loss in some cases, though much less common. Because amphetamines are highly addictive, most amphetamines are non-refillable and must get a renewed prescription in order to continue medication. As many of us know, there is a large market for illicit drugs. The sale of amphetamines is no different. These illegal amphetamines are sold under various names such as speed, gooey, and uppers, with the most commonly known illegal amphetamine, crystal meth, also known as glass or ice. These illegal amphetamines are primarily purchased for personal recreational use, though at times they are purchased for their effect on an individual's performance, be it an increase in energy or sex drive. Amphetamines come in a variety of shapes, size, and color, all ranging from pills, powder, pastes, rock, or even liquid. Due to amphetamines being highly addictive, one would think there would be plenty of resources available to help with recovery and amphetamine dependence. Sadly, this is not the case. Although being the second most globally abused illicit drug behind cannabis, there is currently no approved medication to help combat against amphetamine addiction or dependence. Currently, the available resources for amphetamine addiction consist of different forms of therapy, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, family counseling, and dialectical behavior therapy. Other alternatives include support groups, addiction education, and motivational interviewing.